Happy 2023 to each and every one of you from Rob Rubin Readings and Magic.tv. Now, in honor of Foolish Fish, who is, if you ask me, the biggest game changer in occult reviews, I'm doing this special feature right now, which I'm calling my top 5 books for each of the guests of Magic.tv who have actually written books. Now, a lot of the guests who have featured on Magic.tv have had some amazing work, and it would take quite a bit of time for me to feature each and every one of theirs. So I get this question a lot on the chat rooms, which is, Rob, what book do you recommend by so on and so forth? So what we're going to do is one by one, I'm going to be recommending one book per guest that you can start off with that I personally find my favorite and take it away from there. Now, starters with none other than the legendary Marcus Katz. People have asked me, Rob, he is such a formidable figure in the tarot industry. Where do we begin? One book, and one book alone. Tarosophy by Marcus Katz. This book takes you outside of the realm of a standard divining, fortune-telling tarot card reader and deepens your relationship with the tarot like none other. This is the book, this and Tarosophy 2, there's a sequel to it, that separates the adults from the children, the men from the boys, the girls from the ladies. In other words, if you take time to read Tarosophy and 1 and 2, if you can get your hands on both, your skills, understanding, abilities as a tarot reader will go through the roof. So, for the first pick, for the legendary Marcus Katz, Tarosophy is the book that you must get your hands on, especially if you want to increase your skills as a tarot reader 100-fold. Next, for the ever so mighty Craig Williams, an interesting, powerful figure who Wade and I have had the honor of spending time talking to. With such great power, he has such great compassion to him as well. But since 2022 was such a dark, heavy year for so many of us, the book of his that I have held close to my chest all year, although he's got so many, he's got Cult of Golgotha, Tantric Physics, nothing's going to take away from Entering the Desert by Craig Williams. All right. This book teaches you the value of being alone. The gnosis of being alone. He calls it the desert gnosis. And for the, let's say, inquisitive reader, there's a hidden grimoire within this book. So if you're expecting, oh, spell this, spell that, not going to happen. You're going to need to sit down with this book with a cup of coffee, meditate and contemplate on what the lessons is. He teaches you the value of the creation of the cell. He teaches you how time changes when you're undergoing desert gnosis and the cell experience. And I am ecstatically excited for his next book, Returning to the Desert, which should be coming out in 2023. So for Craig Williams, my top pick for anybody who wants to choose a book for his, Entering the Desert. Now, next, we have none other than the ever so hilarious, yet eloquent, yet charming Dr. Jeremy Weiss. Now, Dr. Weiss is a comedian, a doctor, a gentleman, and a scholar all in all. And he's got some interesting books. And I actually got my hands on his books just 2 days ago. But the one book of his that I actually spent time, energy, and effort bringing in from across the seas, which I have no regret getting, is The Grimoire of Jewish Magic for Everyone. Now, why do I like this book? Because he epitomizes the word everyone, meaning you don't need to be a Jew, you don't need to be a practicer of Judaism to practice this. And what I like about it is the more I read into this book, the more I find interesting things to toy with, to experiment with in my own personal magical practices. So if you want to start with any of Dr. Jeremy Weiss's books, you can't go wrong with The Grimoire of Practical Jewish Magic for Everyone. Not to mention, he is one of the most hilarious men I've ever met. I loved interviewing with him, and he's going to come back for season 2. Now, second to the last, the legendary Aaron Leitch. Father, Ghostbuster, Enochian Mage, Ceremonialist, you name it. Okay? And so many places to start. But if you ask me, if you want to pick up one of his books to start with, you really can't go wrong with Secrets of the Magical Grimoires. Why? Because I think this book took almost, not all, but majority of the things that he's practicing and placed them in one comprehensive tome, especially when you're dealing with Grimoire magic. This is a must-have if you want to be practicing things like Solomonic magic, you want to be preparing for Enochian things. This book is undisputed. In other words, if you want to start with anything with Aaron Leitch, she's got amazing books, but unless, of course, you're already deep into the current, you might have a little bit of trouble understanding it. So with that being said, the best start is The Secrets of the Magical Grimoires by Aaron Leitch. Now, last but not least, now, there are some other people in the show like Wade Long or David Stolowitz or even Denny himself who have not written books yet. So when they do, we'll gladly feature it. But for the season ender, the ever so talented, hilarious, kind-hearted Lon Milo Duquette, the book that I actually would recommend for those of you who'd want to experience what he has to offer, because he has so many things. But he would kill me for not recommending the Ceremonial Magic Tarot Handbook. It's a really great book, but close to my heart will always be Enochian Vision Magic. Why? Because Mr. Duquette took a topic which is as obscure and hard to understand as Enochian, and he made it digestible, practical, and hands-on. So for each and every one of you who want to know how to understand Enochian and practice it and approach it from the calling of the Aethers, the tools, etc., Enochian Vision Magic is a perfect beginning for this because it's a nice way of making this topic, which is very obscure to many new beginning occultists, into something practical and hands-on. So I'd like to invite you all to season 2 of Magic.tv starting January 15. We have a, neo-hermeticist as our guest, and I will be giving a prize to anybody who can guess who it is. So hope to see you all January 15, 2023 on Magic.tv. It'll be uploaded, and thank you all for the support. Expect more videos in the months, days, and weeks to come.